Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video, which is going to be a review and wear test on the Benefit Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation, this little guy right here. I picked mine up in Ulta Beauty for $29. I'm going to apply it today and do a couple of check-ins throughout the day to see how the foundation lasts. Also, I do want to remind you that I have a giveaway going on in my channel. The giveaway video will be linked in the description box, and don't forget that your comments on this video do count as an entry for the comment winner. So if you're interested in seeing my results, then let's go ahead and get started. Alright, the first thing I wanted to mention, this is the packaging of the foundation. It does have SPF 15 and it is a light medium coverage liquid foundation. The packaging is a plastic packaging that has a twist off top and it is a squeezy tube. The foundation itself is really watery, and in the directions it actually says to just use one drop. I actually found that I used a lot more than that, so that's just something to keep in mind. The foundation is your typical 1 ounce of product and it comes in 12 different shades. I do have some comments regarding the shade range, which I will leave for the end of the video. Now, a little bit of background on my skin type. I am a dry skin type. I prefer light to medium coverage foundations with a more luminous finish. Some of my favorites are the Giorgio Aqua Luminous foundations. I like the MAC Face and Body foundation, and I also enjoy the number 7 Lift and Illuminate foundation. I would say those three are probably my top 3 favorite foundations of the moment, and so I wanted to make sure and share those with you just for a little bit of reference of the type of foundation that I prefer. I do have a dry skin type, as I mentioned. I do not have sensitive skin. I don't need a lot of coverage, and my concerns are fine lines and wrinkles and a little bit of discoloration in my cheeks, which you will see when I do application. Okay, so starting off, I've done my brows, primed with the Smashbox primerizer, and I applied the Touch Up Pearl underneath my eyes. I'm going to try to apply the foundation with a beauty blender on one side and a brush on the other. Here's what the outer packaging looks like. I did pick up my foundation in the shade number 5. I did struggle trying to identify a shade because the shade number 5 is actually cool tone, but shade number 4, which was neutral or warmer toned, it was lighter as well. So I think there's about 12 shades in the range. It's supposed to be a more light to medium coverage, sort of blendable type of foundation, and so I'm hoping that this one will work for me. It's a cute little bottle with a happy face, and it is called Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation. I've already started to make a mess. When I removed the lid, a lot of the product actually came out. So I'm just gonna pick it up with my beauty blender, put the lid back on, and give it a shake. Okay, here's the dish I typically use. This is definitely a very runny foundation. Not as runny as the Glossier one, but I would say very similar to the MAC Face and Body. Before I blend out with that brush, I'm going to use one of these flat foundation brushes to sort of swipe it on, just to keep my foundation brush from soaking up all the product. And I'm using a xoxo 01 brush to blend it out. And here you have one layer applied with a brush. I think it looks really nice. It definitely blended out easily. It also fully absorbed into my skin. I wouldn't call it being self-setting, but it did absorb quite nicely. So here you have one side applied and my bare skin. I'm going to swipe it on the left side of my face, similar to how I did for the brush side. And this time I'm going to blend out with a beauty blender. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm actually seeing a fuller coverage application on the side with the sponge. Alright, so that was one layer applied. Here you have the skin on both sides. I think it's a nice finish. It is very light. It feels very light. My skin feels moisturized but not weighed down or greasy, so we'll see how it progresses. I'm going to continue to apply my face makeup. It's currently 4:42. I'm obviously getting a late start to my day, so I'm not sure how long I'll be able to have the foundation on, but I will be staying up pretty late and I will do a couple of check-ins if I can, or at least check in at the end of the day and let you know how it looks. So I'm just going to apply the rest of my face makeup. I'll be right back. Okay, it's 5:43 and this is my first check-in after completing my makeup. I was trying to film another video which included an eyeshadow palette review, and I was trying to film this and I forgot to press record. So I don't know if to film the video with just a review and describe how I created the look or if I have to film it all over again, but in any case, we're talking about foundation right now. And I think the foundation went on fine, as you saw when I applied it. It hasn't been on too long. I did put just a tiny bit of powder so that I could lay other powder products over it. And I think one of the things that I noticed the most is that my skin looks like skin. So you can definitely see the texture of my skin, not in a bad way, just it's not like a mask, so to speak. So it's nice. And everything went on very well over it. I'm not wearing very heavy makeup today at all. And I think it kind of goes along with the vibe of the foundation. My powder products blended fine over it. There was no catching or anything like that. And it required very little powdering because it almost fully absorbed into my skin. I have dry skin type, so very lightweight foundations usually absorb without any problem. One of the things that I did notice at first that I'm not seeing now after I sprayed my face with a little bit of the Too Faced Hangover RX spray, at first I was noticing, like, how do I describe it? Little deposits of pigment that were darker in some spots rather than others. But once I put the spray and I just sort of did a last buff over my face, that went away and I don't see it anymore. I do have the typical settling in my smile lines, just very minor. I've started applying less foundation in that area since I know that it's going to crease. So you can see just a little bit. I don't have creasing on my forehead or anything like that, and yeah, I think the foundation is looking on really well. I'm gonna wear it as long as I can as I do other errands and film other videos, and I will be back at the end of my day and let you know how it turned out. Hi guys, so I'm out walking my dog and I thought you might want to see the foundation in natural daylight. It's about 8 o'clock right now in Chicago, but it is still light outside and the sun isn't really shining on my face, but you can get an idea of how the foundation looks. Right now, looking at myself in the screen, it looks pretty good. It's definitely evened out my skin tone. It feels really light. It is gathering in my smile lines the way it usually does, but yeah, I think overall it's holding on pretty strong. There he goes. That's Ricky. He looks and acts like a puppy, but he's 11 years old. He's a Shih Tzu, and he's been with us since he was about 2 months old. So he's the baby of the family. All right, guys, we're at the 7-hour mark. It is nearly 11 p.m. The foundation's holding up really well, actually. Okay, so this is what we're working with, and I have to say that when I was wearing it, after about an hour or so in, I did notice that it looked a little bit darker than it did before. Obviously, I applied bronzer and a little bit of face powder as well, but it wasn't anything too dark. So it did deepen just a little bit, which makes me wonder if the shade number 4, which was medium neutral, would have worked better for me than number 5, which was medium cool. But I think it's fine. You let me know if you think it appears to blend in with the rest of my skin. I think that it is. It's just, it really does have a slight pink undertone to it. Now, I don't blot throughout the day or anything like that. I don't really have to. I'm a dry skin type and I prefer a luminous finish to my foundation. This one is supposed to be a natural matte with light to medium coverage, and I would have to agree with that. I did apply a little bit of highlighter to add the luminosity, but I have to agree with the coverage that they state as well as with the finish. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it does settle into my smile lines. My foundations always settle there. It's not really offensive, but it is noticeable to me. And then on my nose, it appears to have worn off just a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Everywhere else, it has held on really well. Let's look at my forehead. Ever since I've been using some of those chemical exfoliant products, my forehead is looking a lot better, and so I don't see the foundation settling in there, and it does have very nice coverage. Like, it hasn't worn off. Overall, I'm very happy with the way that it looks. I think it held up really well and it looks pretty. All right, last thing is let's do a flash test. I'll put a picture of the photo on the screen. I have to say that it definitely has like a filter effect. Yeah, it looks like I have a filter, and I'm not going to edit the photo or anything, so you'll see what it looks like. So the foundation claims to be flashback free. I have to agree with that. A natural matte finish. I agree with that. It also is supposed to be very lightweight, which I agree, and it's supposed to be light to medium coverage, which I also agree with. So those are all points that I agree with. My main challenge that I'm feeling about this foundation is with the undertone. I think that if you're releasing only 12 shades, then I would stick from very fair skin tones to very deep skin tones and not try to mix in undertones along in just 12 shades, because if your number 1 is cool undertone and your number 2 is neutral, your 3 is medium, by the time you go back to a cool undertone, you're already 4 shades darker than you originally wanted. So I think that people are going to have a really hard time matching their undertone with this line, and I would really suggest going in store and picking up a sample to see how it's going to work for you. I'm glad that I was able to match myself in store, because I was originally going to purchase number 4 with the neutral undertone, or I was tempted to purchase number 6, which was a warm undertone. But when I tried them on in store, the 4 was too light, the 6 was too dark. So 5 was the closest one with the tones in my skin itself, but the undertone is obviously contrary to what I would normally have. And I think that it does give my skin a slight pink look, which I offset by using bronzer and things like that, but I don't know, I just think I would have preferred to have seen the entire range be neutral, because that's more likely to match a higher percentage of people rather than alternating cool, neutral, warm, cool, neutral, warm. It's just limiting, and I think that people might have problems finding their shades, which is usually what happens with Benefit. They do sell these guys in a little small sample size for $10. I honestly wouldn't recommend that. I would just suggest that you go in stores, swatch them, and ask for a sample in your shades. You could see if you're gonna like it. I don't know that someone with an oily skin type might like this because it's very lightweight. I have a feeling that if your oils start breaking through, they'll just dissolve the foundation and you're not gonna like the effect. But I'm a dry skin type, so if you are an oily skin type, maybe check out some other reviews that are more similar to your own skin type. I think $29 for 1 fluid ounce is an okay price, but the packaging, it's cute. It's really cute, but I think that maybe we could have saved a little bit more since the packaging is really simple, because with foundations with really nice pumps and glass bottles and things like that, you can find one in the range of like $40, and that's not that far off from this one. So I think that they did save on the packaging, and it would be nice if they would pass those savings along to us, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's everything I have to say about the foundation. Hopefully you found the video helpful. I will wear this again tomorrow, and when I go to edit the video, I will include more notes in the description box if I feel that there was something I missed, or if it works a little bit differently when wearing it a second or third time. I'll definitely add that information to the description box so that the review is complete and as informative as it can be. If you did enjoy this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would be really happy to have you join my makeup family. Thank you so much for watching and spending a few minutes of your day with me today. Hope you're having a great one, and I'll see you again very, very soon on my next video. Bye-bye!